So it's really annoying to hear a lot of people say that. And I'm like, where did you assume that it's a good cancer? Like, who told you that?
that is universal ignorance when it comes to this, and in cancer in general, with adults and kids. That's a universal ignorance, is that there's good and there's bad.
Yeah,
There's all bad. There's leukemia has so many different variables or variants to it, and different things that can happen. So the fact that anybody would say, yeah, it's when you hear leukemia, it's probably the most common one that you hear, right?
right.
Types of cancer, but at the same time, it reacts differently in every single body. Reacts differently based on whether you're male or female, whether you're a child, an adult. It reacts differently based on whatever type of genetic makeups. There's a whole variable of things that can happen to make it different. So to say, well, it's just easy, there's also no universal protocol for treatments for it.
There's,
It may be more understood in a sense as a whole, but there's no universal treatment. You can't go to the leukemia patient next door in the hospital room and say,
right.
what treatment are you getting? I promise you it's not the same thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be different.
And
Right.
that's the biggest misunderstanding, not only that there's good and bad, but also that treatments are all the same, or that they just open up the shelf and say, okay, they've got leukemia, we're going to pull this one off. They've got brain cancer, we're going to treat it like this.
Only it was that easy.
Yeah. Maybe one day, but right now we're nowhere near that. But yeah,
Unfortunately.
that's definitely I think that's the biggest part of what we try to fight for now is the misconceptions and the misunderstandings,
Hmm.
of what it is and how it reacts to children versus adults, and that it's different.
That's just like another annoying thing, because I'm sure you've heard this too, that only 4% of funding goes into research for childhood cancers and like the drugs that they can use for children and things like that. I'm like, there has to be more.
Right.
Like, why is it only 4%? Why is it so little? It's like, why?
Yeah, it is an unbelievable slight on an entire community. And there in the US right now, there are 73 million children or kids under 18 years old. So there's 73 million people that are affected by a 4% government funding. And when we were
Hmm.
in DC last year, they were boasting the fact that they'd gotten it to 8%. That still sucks. We're in single digits.
Right.
And a lot of, if you look at it, a lot of the research that goes into adult cancers, the findings that they're using are coming from research into pediatric cancer. So essentially, we're funding and we're pushing the research into adult cancers, and they're getting 90 plus. We'll give them 10%. They're getting 90+% of the funding to
Right.
them. And there's a lot of different areas that this funding comes from when it comes to adult cancers. It comes from the government. It comes from the DoD, which I still don't understand. It comes from different areas. But when it comes to pediatric cancer research, I would say that a majority of the funding that comes from that is from organizations, is from small organizations, private donors. We're carrying the load here. We're carrying the
Right.
weight of that, when it should be the other way around. And when they are talking about, well, we got it to 8%, that blows, man. It should be 50-50 at a minimum. At a minimum, it should be
At a minimum, it
50-50.
should be. You would
Um,
think.
I mean, I think it should be more than that. I think that the kids should be getting more, because um, it's the way that children handle treatments on the attitude side is way better than on the adult side. But the way their bodies handled on a physical side
Right.
is rough. And for them to really understand, why is my body doing this, and what are you going to face later in life based on the treatments now? As an adult, a lot of adult cancers can be linked to lifestyle. They can be linked to things that have happened in your
Yeah.
life and things like that. Kids didn't go out drinking. I'm sure that you weren't a heavy drinker at 13. You know what I mean? Or you weren't smoking, or you weren't doing whatever that caused you to be diagnosed with cancer. But yet, why are we funding so much into choices? The
Right.
kids didn't have a chance to grow up and make these mistakes and be stupid and have a chance to have these things happen. But yet we're not giving them the respect of, you know what? Okay, you guys didn't have this opportunity to do this. We're going to make it a little bit better by funding things that actually understand, because there is a universal misunderstanding as to why children develop cancer, period.
Yeah.
And there are some genetic links or some lifestyle links, but very, very little.
I mean, I'm sure there is. I don't think cancer doesn't technically like run in my family. My grandpa had colon cancer, but that's probably the only person in my family that I know that had cancer, and then there's me. So that's two people, and that's about it.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any
Doesn't
sense,
make
right?
sense.
No, there's no definitive understanding on it. I know I have breast cancer that's running a kind of on a few people in my family, and that's it. And there's no genetic link.
Right.
With our daughter, she should have had a gene mutation that is genetically linked to the type of cancer she had. She was negative. And there was
Yeah.
one other thing that should have happened, negative on it. So she was in her life and in her diagnosis, a complete unicorn.
Wow.
It made no sense at all. And that's the thing. Why we don't understand it. If we don't understand it, we don't know how to fix it. And if we're only throwing $250 million a year at it, which it seems like a lot of money, but I mean, that's garbage. That's chump change.
I'm like, in comparison to other fundings, that's not anything. That's nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
It's definitely not going to make it. We're not going to change anything anytime soon with that little amount of funding that's going towards it. And and I've always said too, on the political side, if you get into that, it's not a D or an R. It doesn't matter to me who's running the office or the country. This is the most nonpartisan, non-biased issue on the planet, which is kids.
Yeah.
And we need to be taking better care of them, flat out. We need to be giving them the respect they deserve, and we need to find out why our kids aren't living as long and why they're not, and why their survivor stories, the numbers on those are not going up.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
That was a lot of serious stuff there.
That was.
That was a lot of serious stuff. So I'll ask you this. This will be better. So, what type of nursing are you going into?
I mean, I would love to go into pediatric oncology.
You
bring it full circle.
That's amazing. That's an incredible. Like I said before, it takes a special person. Having that specific insight to what it's like and how you can relate to patients, I think will be unbelievable.
I mean, during my peds rotation, I wasn't on the oncology unit, but there was a patient. He was going through some like other things, but he also had cancer. And just being able to like talk to him about like my experience and like what he was going through, and just to see like that like light in his eyes, being like, oh, like she gets it. It made me feel so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like being able to talk to someone who gets it. I just
That
like want to be that person for
it
them
w-
too.
right, and it causes them to kind of put their wall down, that
Yeah,
strong
because then
side that
they
you're
feel a
talking
little
about.
bit more comfortable. Because I mean, I certainly did with my nurse Amanda. She
Right.
was great. I felt completely comfortable telling her everything that I was going through and what I was feeling. Not that I didn't with my other nurses, but the connection that I had with her was just different.
Right. Well, that's incredible. Honestly, I think that, I've heard a few of those stories, and to kind of go back and turn around and turn your life into giving back to others in a way that you felt the most touched or the most influenced in that journey. So that's incredible. I know that I commend you on that, and I'm sure everybody listening does as well. Yeah, and certainly wish you the best in that endeavor. I think that that's incredible.
I'm like very, very much looking forward to it. So I know it's going to be hard, but I can't wait. I honestly can't wait to start.
And how far along are you in that journey right now?
So I'm actually done with nursing school. I graduated back in December. I'm just waiting to take my NCLEX, which is the board exam. So like once I pass that, then I can start working as an RN, which kind of sucks because I'm like, I already passed nursing school. I already passed all the tests. Now you're making me take another test. So this is like a statewide like exam. I think it's like nationwide, but I can only take it in the state that I'm going to practice in. So I'm taking it in Illinois. So that's coming up.
Okay.
It's coming up soon. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I pass and then I can start applying to different hospitals. See
No,
what.
is that something that you once you pass that you have to start at a certain, like you start just as an RN before you can move into a specialty for a while?
Um, no, I know there's like this like stigma around it where people like, oh, when you first get a job as a nurse, like you have to start in med surge, but you can honestly start anywhere. Like I have a friend who's working in like the ICU right now, another friend that's working in the ED, another friend that graduated that's working in like labor and delivery. Like you can do honestly anything. So, and then I have a few friends that are working at, I don't know if you've heard of Larry's here in
Mm-hmm.
Chicago. A few friends working there. One of my friends, Jordan, she's actually working on the oncology unit there. That's where she had her peds clinical and she really loved it.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm excited for you to take a venture like that. I think I'm way too far along in my life to take on a journey like that, but that's incredible to be able to turn around and do that,
Yeah.
um, and give back. And so, Laurie Children's Hospital, I know we've never been there, but we had friends that were treated there.
Hmm.
Incredible institution, incredible people. So,
Oh no,
um,
I loved all the nurses that I got to like meet and stuff while I was there. So they're great. And then last month, I you can't see my t-shirt, but they had the cancer survivor celebration and walk that all the money that was raised from this went towards the Larry's Comprehensive Center and whatnot. So that was pretty cool.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And that's like, honestly, that's the kind of stuff that doesn't get televised. You know, see what I'm
No,
saying?
it doesn't. Like
We don't
I wouldn't have known about it if I wasn't a part of this the cancer patient page on Instagram.
yeah,
So if I wasn't following that page, I wouldn't have known about this event because I did it last year and then I started getting the emails for this year. So I got a couple of friends to like join me for the walk and we got to do that, which is pretty fun.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
see, that's awesome. And you know what? You should be fucking celebrated for this, for being here, for have doing what you've done, gone through, and what you're planning on doing. And you should be celebrated for that. And I wish that we saw more of that kind of stuff. Hell, on the news, that or on whatever social media that it's pushed. And it's unfortunate that we don't see enough of it.
Hmm.
And but I hope we continue to see types of things like that, and you are given that, again, that respect that you deserve and that you've earned.
It was really great just seeing there were so many people there and just even seeing like the caregivers, they got their separate shirts that said caregiver instead of like survivor on it. But just seeing so many people like come together for something like that was really nice.
I truly believe 100%. My wife will sometimes disagree with me that social media does not push this type of stuff, no matter how many. I again, it was July 3rd of this year, so we're only talking a few weeks ago. Was the 3-year anniversary of our daughter passing. I posted on Facebook about that. And throughout the day, had over 100 responses, whether it was just likes or comments, things like that. I post
Mm-hmm.
about something about an event, I get 2. So
Yeah.
I don't think that it's people are that preoccupied. I think that is some of it, but I
Hmm.
also think that it doesn't get pushed. I think that that's something that's not pushed to the top of the page, and it's unfortunate.
It really is.
But come hell or high water, much like the survivor's walk, we are going to be successful in this, and we're going to continue to push it. And um, this year will be donated. It's kind of an investment, and we have a pretty big announcement that I was able to hear about that's coming up that I want everybody to be a part of. This year's investment or donation, we're calling it an investment into the future, but this year's donation is going to it's going to be incredible, and I would
And that's going to
love.
be announced at the event.
Yep.
Okay. I gotta
They
be there for that.
I mean, we teased it a little bit, but they're going to explain it more. And I'm super pumped because it's one of those things where we knew that we were doing good. We knew that this was a good thing, but I had no idea that it had already created the impact,
Yeah.
just with the promise of the money that it was going to create. So this is definitely was a really good conversation. And I appreciate what you've been able to share. And I'm so excited for what you'll have for us in the future and to watch. And I hope that we're able to see you come full circle with what your plans are.
Hope I can update you guys later on.
Yeah. We're again with all of our friends, and I'll shout out to Shelby. All of them know that we are
I love
always
Shelby. I've known her since
here.
I was like 4 years old.
Love
She's
her. The
like
family's great. Strider's a
number
nut.
one.
Mary's crazy. Yeah, we love watching it. They were a family that we were able to meet through TikTok, which TikTok is a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
But it has allowed us to meet and come in contact with a lot of really cool people. And that's one of the things is that our phones are always on, and our emails and our messenger, all this, we're never hard to get a hold of here. So definitely, we want to stay on top of what you've got going on, and I'm excited to see what happens and how you get through that, and if you make it to that, the oncology nurse side of it, then I think that would be an amazing full circle, and to be able to give back and when you're in a position where you understand, like on a personal level, it makes such a better impact. Not that nurses that don't have the connection can't be good nurses, but just to have that little bit extra and
it's
is
great.
an incredible
It's
thing.
great
So
being able to like relate on that level, even though it's a shitty thing to be able to relate to.
right.
It helps. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I always tell people, I don't want, when we're looking for support, where we're looking for people to follow us or whatever, I don't want you to understand what we went through. I just want you to listen, and I just want you to just be there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want you to
Just here for
feel.
support. Just like
Yeah.
listen to what I have to say. Don't offer advice.
Right.
Like not offer advice, but like a term that some people use is cancer muggle. I don't know if you've heard that term before.
I've never heard that.
You've never heard the term cancer muggle?
No.
No? Oh, it's basically like people who think they know about cancer try to like offer you advice, like like the whole cancer or sugar feeds cancer.
Yeah. I've heard
And
that.
things like that, where they try to offer you advice, and I'm like, you don't know anything about it, so just shove it up your ass and keep it to yourself.
Well, everybody's an expert, though. Everybody's an expert, and I
Well,
will
always.
I will say this, that you can say something like there's when you have kids, and they'll say there's no books on how to raise kids. Well, there are plenty of books on how to raise kids,
Yeah.
but I would say that a vast majority, if not all of those books, are written by people without kids.
Oh,
Okay.
probably.
So therefore, all the advice you're getting, the unsolicited advice that you get as a parent or as a patient, is from people that have no idea what they're talking about. They've read it on the internet, or they've taken some kind of, I don't know, there's got to be classes out there they're taking that are teaching them this crap. Yes, there is evidence that XYZ does affect cancer, but XYZ does not affect everybody the same and can't be universally
No.
applied.
My parents didn't give a crap what I was eating. They're like, oh, she's eating today? Hell yeah, let her eat whatever she
Yes.
wants.
Yes. 1 million.
It's like it's like
1,000,000%.
another thing. I was also diagnosed with like anorexia during treatment because I lost a lot of weight. And like my dad would bring me food from home or like Subway or Taco Bell, like or whatever, and my doctor would come in to check in on me. He was like, "Why don't you eat like that all the time?" I'm like, "The hospital food sucks ass." Like, I don't want to eat that crap. I didn't want to eat in general. I mean, there was days that it would take me 2 hours to eat a single banana. My
Yeah.
nurse would literally have to come check in on me like every 15 minutes to see how far I'd gotten. Not far.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That,
like the fact that I was eating anything at any point, they got excited about that. So like, oh, she's eating. That's good.
and they should. They should be. That's that biggest, not that's the biggest misnomer when the whole thing comes across there is, well, they're not eating healthy. They're not eating healthy. They're not eating this and that, or they're eating sugar. Who gives a shit? If
Yeah.
when you are going through this and you can understand this and you can attest to this, it destroys your appetite.
No, it does.
100%.
And it
You
like
don't want to,
changes your taste buds. Like you don't like what you used to like.
right.
Everything changes. And even like I don't know if this was because like the medications or chemo or whatever, but like my sense of smell, every little thing just smelled so bad to me. Like I had to be changed like rooms one time because I was too close to the microwave, and it made me sick to my stomach smelling the stuff that they were microwaving, and I was like, I can't deal with that. It made me so nauseous all the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's again, it's what this stuff does to you. It changes you in a way that you don't think about. You think about the hair, but you don't
Yeah.
think about your senses, your taste buds. Our daughter went from liking one thing to liking only sour foods, which was weird, but that's what she wanted. It just changed it like that. And then, and I don't put myself on a pedestal, but the most viewed video I ever had on social media was almost 3 million views. And it was because I called out a doctor that went to a hospital and said, I can't believe they're feeding kids this. First of all, in the cafeteria, they're not feeding kids that. That's for parents and whatever that are there while their children or somebody's in a hospital. That's
Right.
not the same food the kids are getting. Number two, when you are going through this, you have no appetite. Therefore, what you're eating, any calories are good calories.
Exactly.
That's
They don't
that's
get that.
and
They don't
yeah,
get
that's
that.
end of story. And I used to say if she wanted a donut, she's getting a donut. The child ate Happy Meals every day for months because that's all she wanted. And we didn't care because it meant that she was eating something.
Right. As long
You
as
know,
they're eating something.
yeah. So it's,
Something.
I mean,
So
that,
let's just be happy about that.
yeah, that's a thing. Like, stop trying to break it down. I mean, don't stop trying to tell us that because we gave her this, that she developed this, or because you ate this, that you're going to get this. You know what? At this point, if she wants to have sugar, great. Does sugar feed cancer? Maybe in some ways, maybe in some levels, but I mean, you have to understand that everything in moderation and everything is based on the amount you intake and stuff like that. It's
Exactly.
not, and the other side of that is you're telling me, then you're also saying that everybody in this world that eats 100% healthy every day, organic, grass fed, all this shit, never eats sugar. Do those people never develop diseases ever? Right? I
Never.
mean, it's like you're you're telling me these are the most healthy people in the world, nothing bad ever happens to them. That
Exactly.
that's where we need to go back to. But yeah, that unsolicited advice. Everybody's an expert. Just don't fucking do it.
That's where the term cancer muggles comes in. It's
Oh
all
my
the unsolicited advice that comes from these experts, these so-called experts.
Yeah, everybody knows everything about everything, but nobody knows anything about a damn thing. That's what the problem is.
Yeah.
If you don't know, you don't know, and that's fine. That's why we're here to teach you, or we're here to inform you about things, and just ask questions. Ask questions if you've got questions, but don't come to
I'm an
us.
open
You
book
know,
when it comes to it. Like, ask me anything. I really don't care. I used to be hesitant to like talk about my journey and things that I had been through, but like I don't really care now. I'm like, ask me anything.
yeah.
I'll tell you.
And that's good because I think I don't there's a lot of people I think that are very hesitant, and then I've always said there's also two types of families when you're going through this, and two types of people. One is that you go through the journey and either you come out on the other side as a survivor, or unfortunately the child will pass. If and either way, what the family will do is either move forward like this and talk about it and explain their story or advocate whatever, and then there's the other 50% that will just kind of fade into the background because they don't want to be associated with it anymore. And neither way is wrong. 100% neither way is wrong. Everybody grieves different, everybody lives different, but that's the thing. I wish more people would just come out and want to talk about it and
Right.
be open about it, because that's how the understanding comes about. That's how we get people to say, wow, I didn't know that that was the thing. I didn't know that it was a problem. Well, you went through all this, but you never talk about it, so you must be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that you're willing to, and I'm glad that so many people have been willing to share their stories, because that's the only way that we're ever going to make a difference.
Exactly. I think so. I'm glad you're doing this.
this this was, I mean, it was a solid year of me wanting to do it and not having the time, and then
Yeah.
it became, I was able to do it, and so now it's been about a year, and doing the episodes by myself was good, but I like this side of it, being able to bring other stories, other families, organizations, things like that in here to be able to tell their stories, because there's so many more sides of it than just mine.
Right.
So it's really good. So with that, what I'm going to ask is that every time, or when I have people on, I always ask towards the end, I say, do you have any advice that you would give either to children, maybe the age that you were diagnosed that are going through this, or maybe to families, or just overall advice you'd like to leave people with?
Like you said earlier, just like live your life to the fullest, you know? Be thankful for like the people around you, the people that are there to support you. Don't give up. Don't listen to the haters, honestly. People will tell you things while you're going through it, and just don't let that negativity get to you. Because I had a lot of people be like, oh, well, this person had that and they died. Or this person had this and that's how it happened. I'm like, I don't want to hear that. I don't need to hear that. So don't listen to the haters, you know?
Yeah, no, that's good, because again, that also goes along with the whole, not only is everybody an expert, but also everybody has some kind of connection, right? Well, my father or my mother or my aunt or my cousin twice removed had cancer, and this is what happened. Well, it's
Yeah.
not the same, guys. You have an understanding on the cancer level, but when it comes to kids, unless you have a direct connection to it,
Yeah.
don't compare. Don't compare.
Don't
Just the best
compare
thing yeah.
my journey to their journey, you know?
You can
Like,
empathize, and you can
yeah.
say you understand in that sense, but don't compare it. That's, between that and ghosting people when things go bad, don't do it.
Also had some of that. So
The support comes and the support goes real fast.
it does. It's like they will be there for you like during the hard times and then they disappear after that, or they completely disappear during the hard times and then they kind of try to make their way back in after, and they're like, "Oh, like how are you? How's it
Yeah,
going?" And I'm like, "Why does it matter to you now?"
right, right. And that's, unfortunately, you have to, in this life now, you have to purge a lot of people from it, if
Yeah.
because that's negative. It really is negative people that are there for you when times are really bad, and when they get
It's like,
really worse, they want to leave, or when they're like, oh, well, you're all good now, right? You ended treatment, and then, okay, see ya.
and it's
It's
like
like,
so it's kind of shitty to see though. It's like those people, they do it for themselves mostly, because then they'll be
yep.
like, "Oh, but I was there for you during this time."
Hmm.
And they kind of use it against you, like I've noticed with some people. I mean, not everyone obviously, but
Yeah,
yeah.
they're there for the wrong reasons, and
Mhm.
that really is a shame. It really is a shame, and my wife will compare it to, well, once the freak show's over, they don't want to be around. Once the
Hmm.
circus is done, they're gone.
Well
And
done.
it's unfortunate, because I know for us, some of the closest people to us that we thought would be there for us no matter what are the first ones that tucked tail and ran as soon as JC passed away.
Yeah.
And it's like, I always say that even if once a child passes or once you're ending your treatment, that's honestly when you need the support the most, because you're either you're finding a new normal without your child, or you're finding a new normal living on the edge of your seat every day, wondering, is something going to happen? That's
Yeah.
when we need the support, and that's when they disappear. So
Yeah.
don't don't be an ass, and don't
Okay.
support people for the wrong reasons and then just leave.
Yeah.
So there's
Just
my
be there.
advice.
Just be there for them. Listen, you
Yeah.
know.
All we want is an ear, honestly.
What you want. It's like, let me vent, let me talk. You don't have to say anything, you know. Just sit there
Mhm.
and listen.
That is 100%. the best thing that you can do if you don't understand, if you don't know what to say, if you don't know how to react, just say, I'll be there for you. You can call me anytime you want. I'll just listen on the phone. If you're stressed out, you need me to go get groceries for you. If you need me to watch your kids while you get out of the house for 10 minutes, it's little things like that that we take for granted. That's the kind of support you need to offer, not advice, not detailed descriptions on how your family went through it. I mean, that's good to relate, but it's not the support we need, right? We need just listen, just be there. That would be phenomenal.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what we're looking for, everybody. That's all we need. That's all everybody needs. Don't be a jerk, and just live every day to the fullest. Live every day without regrets. Live every day like there is no tomorrow, and never be discouraged. Never give up on things. And if you need something, don't be afraid to ask for help. I know asking for help is hard to do. I know we're still trying to figure it out. We all are I raised my kids to be independent, and then to turn around and ask for help seems kind of counterproductive, but we're all just human beings. We're just people, and we all need help sometimes. So don't be afraid to ask for it. That was today's episode. I want to thank you once again for spending some time with me and detailing your journey and just having a candid conversation about what it's like to go through it as a child and now being an adult and getting into your career, which is a full circle from diagnosis day to walking in the first time and being there with a patient that is truly going through the worst time, and you're going to be able to relate to them on a level that I think is going to put them at such an ease. That'll be amazing.
I hope so.
So I will end it for today, but thank you again for being here with me. And everybody, just make sure that you are supporting the people around you, being there for your friends, and being there for the right reasons. And we will see everybody next week.